The first thing you want to review before the assignment are your LIDS devices. Language, imagery, diction, details, and syntax. So language, you're looking at formal versus informal language, personification, hyperbole, idioms, those types of things would be language. Imagery is going to be very specific details that give like that colors, sounds, taste, feel, anything that accommodates the senses. And so a lot of times metaphors and similes will also be under imagery, even though they could be language, but they usually add to an imagery passage. Diction is word choice. You want to address the positive or negative connotation of the word. So I like to mark it as diction, then put plus or minus above it so I know if it's positive or negative. Details are things that don't really qualify as imagery, but they're specific enough that they stand out to us. And then syntax, most of the time we're looking for parallel structure. However, that could be rhetorical questions, it could be long sentences, short sentences, listing. Any of those would also apply. So I've already marked my passage for diction, imagery, syntax, details, and language. I didn't mark every single thing I found, but I did a quick read of it, and I listened to the video, read it aloud, and I just marked things that stood out to me. And then when I read it to myself after listening to it, I was able to mark some more things. So I'm not going to do that for you because I believe at this point in the year you guys can mark. Like especially at the end, I kind of let up because I obviously had 5 things that I could use. So let's look at the rag and fill that out together as a review and practice. So the essay title is V for Vendetta. And I do not know the character's name. If you know it, feel free to put it in, but the character gives the speech. And then your name and your hour. Make sure that that's filled in. So now let's see, ethos, pathos, or logos. What is the strongest appeal that is used here? I feel like the strongest appeal would be logos, and then you're going to explain your choice. So the reason I feel that this would be logos is I feel that he is providing, I feel like the speaker provides logical explanations, to his purpose. And then we need to find the 5 devices. So I found a lot of devices, and I'm going to start with language. And then I'm going to use diction because I have a lot of those. And I have syntax. And then I didn't really have a lot of imagery. I'm going to go back and use, so I have syntax and we're going to say parallel structure. I'm going to use syntax again and say rhetorical question. And then I've got language up here, and I'm going to say the formal diction or the formal language. And then down here I could use language again, and he's got personification. I think it's personification. I guess it technically could be an idiom. So those were the ones that I've decided I'm going to use. So you can pause and maybe write those down if you didn't already have some of your own. So this would be persuasive language, formal language. Good evening, London. Allow me first to apologize for this interruption. So this would be effective in persuading the audience because, so let's think about that. When you have someone that apologizes and they address you with good evening, they come about it conversationally, then you're able to you're not on guard. You're not feeling as though you need to put up your defense mechanisms. So this is effective because it puts the audience at ease by his conversational tone. So the things I would add there would be conversational, audience at ease, but you need to put those in complete sentences. Always, always, always start with this is effective in persuading the audience because. So you want to do that with each one of these here. I'm just not going to rewrite it because I'm not going to fill all those in for you.
No longer remembered by taking some time out of our daily lives to sit down and have a little chat.
So chat, how would we use chat as diction? Is it positive or negative? So whenever you use diction here, you're going to say this is effective in persuading the audience because. And then you would say if it's positive or negative connotation. And it persuades the audience because. What does it do? It allows them to feel less intimidated. So it has that less intimidation. If you're just chatting with someone, again, you don't feel as though you're going to be yelled at or scolded. Then we have syntax, war, terror, disease. What would be the benefit of listing these negative things? So again, we have negative things here. You always want to, is it negative or positive stuff that's being listed? What is it when you take out all of the conjunctions? That would be not polysyndeton, but asyndeton. So again, these are just key words. Yours should be in complete sentences. And why would listing those negative things be relevant? Why would it matter? And so if you turn over your paper, you'll see them listed at the top of the back side. There were a myriad of problems which conspired to corrupt your reason and rob you of your common sense. So he's saying these are terrible things that happened. You're not to blame. So again, it's coming back to the audience, and he's not blaming the audience. He's saying these bad things happened to you. So it's effective, so it's making the audience the victim. Then we have rhetorical questions all over the place, picking one of them of any. I picked, how did this happen? So this is effective because it allows, anytime you have a rhetorical question, allows the audience to think. And then language and personifications. Words will always retain their power. So having words retain power is effective because it helps the audience recognize what, and I want you guys to fill in the blank there. When you turn it over, you need to pick a tone. I picked reverent because it has a respectful tone. He's developing a relationship with the audience. His formal language and diction create a logical and fair explanation of events. He does not lash out, but he also keeps composure, and the audience is addressed respectfully. And then the final thing you'll want to do is finish with your sentence, your paragraph. And what I've done is kind of set you up with a template here. The speaker uses a blank tone. So wherever the blanks are, that's what you need to fill in. You can write more than this, but this will be sufficient. And in order to do what? Why do they use that tone? To develop a relationship with the audience, to develop trust with the audience. For example, give an example from the passage from the speech. This, and you can use 1 through 5. Anything 1 through 5 would be fine here. This is effective in persuading the audience because, and then you have to tell me why, and this could be from numbers 1 through 5 on your devices on the opposite side of this page. Another example, again, that can come from numbers 1 through 5. You don't have to find new examples, just use what you've already put in there. This develops logos, which is effective because, why is logos effective? What is it that he's trying to do with the way he speaks? The blank tone persuades the audience to, and then what does it persuade the audience to do? So that is how I would handle this. And please go ahead and use this as notes, use this as a template, and then be prepared to turn this in on Monday.